Hi everyone, I'm Noah and this is The Perceptions of Injustice. In this episode, I'm going to be dissecting Amanda Bearden's YouTube live stream on the podcast Crime on the Record. In my opinion, her interview raised more questions than provided answers. Also, along the way in the video, I'm going to be providing clips from different sources for us to have a better understanding on this case, which is the Debbie Collier case.
There have been twists and turns in this case. We want to break down the timeline for you.
Collier was first reported missing September 10th. That's the day she was seen buying items, including a blue tarp, a red tote bag, paper towels, a torch lighter, and poncho from a Family Dollar. Her last known communication was sending her daughter more than $2,000 on Venmo with a cryptic message. Her body was found a day later with the items she bought the day before. 3 days later, on September 14th, deputies served a search warrant at Collier's daughter's home. A week later, the sheriff's office reveals that investigators have found no evidence of either or a kidnapping. And today, investigators say her death is, quote, deliberate and personal.
The autopsy has now been released in the death of Athens' mother, Debbie Collier. In a huge turn of events tonight, the medical examiner with the GBI has now ruled her death as a suicide. According to the autopsy, the 59-year-old's death was a result of inhalation of superheated gases, thermal injuries, and hydrocodone intoxication. Detectives have been investigating the circumstances surrounding Collier's death since September after her body was found burned 50 miles from her home in Athens. Now, they previously said they were investigating her death as a homicide. However, today's report is calling her death self-inflicted.
There has been so many opinions that contradicts what the autopsy report has shown. One of them is famed forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Bearden believes that Georgia mom Debbie Collier was likely murdered and didn't herself as authorities claim. The former New York City chief medical examiner said Collier's autopsy raises significant questions about how law enforcement came to believe she died by suicide. Namely because the report notes she inhaled no soot or carbon monoxide. From a forensic point of view, that would indicate that she was dead before the fire started, Bearden told the Post Tuesday, saying soot and carbon monoxide are present 99% of the time when people die in a fire, especially self-immolation. The autopsy report obtained by the Post and provided to Bearden for review claims Collier died from inhalation of superheated gases, thermal injuries, and a hydrocodone intoxication, and speculates she died in a flash fire. While Bearden said the level of hydrocodone in Collier's system were higher than a therapeutic dose, it is impossible to tell what her tolerance for the drug was given that she had been prescribed the medication for a prolonged back injury. Citing her toxicology report, Bearden said about a little less than half of people would die from those levels. But if she did die of an overdose, the question of how the fire started remains, he said, and then her cause of death should be labeled hydrocodone overdose with post-mortem fire injuries. It makes it more confusing, he said of the toxicology report. The forensic pathologist who was hired by the families of George Floyd, Michael Brown, and Jeffrey Epstein to do private autopsies and appeared in the show Autopsy said the fact that Collier was apparently found naked makes him further question the suicide conclusion. I mean, think about it. Who would do that? Who would go like that? There's so many ways to go. I'm not saying there's one way that's better than the other way, not at all. Just who would choose such a horrific thing to do to themselves? And naked? I mean, why would she get naked and do that in a place like that?
As most of you know, Amanda Bearden is Debbie Collier's daughter, and we are very excited to have her on with us tonight. Amanda, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Now, first, Candace and I, along with a lot of other people, we've received probably hundreds of messages from others. We want to offer our sincere condolences to what's going on with this to you and your family. I'm not sure a lot of us can actually grasp what you're going through and what your family's going through to not just lose a mother, but in the way that you did. So we just want to say, we feel for you. And during this interview, there's a lot of questions, and it's just a conversation. It's just the three of us talking, and there just happens to be a couple of people listening. So, but as we're going through these, if there's a question that you don't feel comfortable answering, just let me know. With that being said, though, there are a few that, you are going to have to answer, because not only the people watching, but I want to know too. So, I mean, obviously the Venmo stuff, the family dollars, CCTV, some phone calls and timelines are definitely something that we do want to make sure that we kind of clear up and get the answers from you. But first, before we get into that, I really want to talk about your mom, because so many of us know her just by what happened. We know her from just a CCTV video. We don't really know who she is. So can you tell us a little bit about your mom and what kind of relationship you had with her?
My mom was my best friend. She was a consistent source of joy, support, and love for me. I'm sorry, I'm kind of scrambling here.
It's understandable.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. Someone is messaging me. I'm sorry. I'm getting nervous, y'all. I'm really sorry, but my mom,
Okay.
she was just a bubbly, happy, strong individual. She didn't.
The first section of the interview, before asking her questions, like just the intro, she has her eyes everywhere in the room, here, there, da, da. Okay? If you look closely, you will see that she hasn't looked on her left side even once. Now, look at this, and this is the moment that he starts his questions. This is the first question.
Can you tell us a little bit about your mom and what kind of relationship you had with her?
My mom was my best friend. She was a consistent source of joy, support, and love for me.
It does seem that whenever he asks her questions, the looking to the left increases more, and it's more visible to us. And you're going to notice this throughout the questioning. And I want you to keep this in mind while watching this video. I want you to put in mind, okay, let's observe this particular thing. Okay, it may be so small, but I think it's something to look at. Why her eyes only go to the left? Okay, imagine if the camera is here, which is her case, the camera is here on the computer, and I'm looking to my left to read something, or to look at a phone, to look at someone, to look at something. That's how she looks. That's how she's looking. And that happens only when she's looking for an answer. Also, there is something strange about her pausing for that long, and after that looking at her screen, and you can see, actually, I'll show you now, okay? Did you see that? Did you see the light going on? You know, when you open a new window in the laptop or computer and just like a light comes on in your face, that's what happened with her. I mean, she reassured this, that she got a message. Now in a few seconds she'll say, I'm sorry, I got a message. So we know that she got a message, and we know that this is what happened for real. You're doing the most important interview in your life. You have been called out for many other things before, and there's so many eyes on you right now, and you choose to actually read a message on your laptop. I mean, why didn't you just in 1 second close it and not look at it? I mean, it shows that she was focused in the message.
Sorry. Someone is messaging me. I'm sorry. I'm getting nervous, y'all. I'm really. She was a very private person. She didn't let her, dirty laundry just fly around. I guess it's not. A lot of people that claim to know her. I'm not talking about everybody, but they don't really know the ins and outs of my mother, even those that are related to her.
Now she's trying to point that, everything you hear from other people about my mom, it's not true, because I'm the only one that knows my mom. I'm the only one that was so close to her. And the question was to talk about your mom. Why would you say that this is about the people then? It's not about your mom that people don't know her. It's odd that she inserted this in here. It's like she wants something out of this sentence that she inserted. And she wants people watching this to know that she is the only one that knows really and very close with her mom. Even people are related to her and say they know her, they don't know her. What do you mean? Why are we talking about this now?
They don't.
I'm sorry, but I cannot convince myself that she's not reading. I mean, she will literally look at her left and then start saying the words. And it's just my opinion. And all of this is just my opinion, my own speculation. Please do your own research before concluding something.
We did have a lot of questions from people. So why don't we just go ahead and jump into those? Well, I want to start with, the questions about that have been going on with your mom in the day, that Saturday or on September 11th. So the first one, a big one, is the argument or the debate or whatever you want to call it of the woman in the CCTV video at Family Dollar. Do you think that's your mom?
It absolutely was my mom. The jersey that she was wearing, she's probably had for over a year. It was just something that she would throw on a game day. She worked through the week. Saturday was her day to go shopping. And I would assume that was why she was dressed that way.
I've never seen my mom wear shorts in the last 5 years of her life.
So you're questioning if that was even your mom in that video?
Absolutely. Yeah, I am. I have a lot of concerns.
So this was Jeffrey Bearden, the brother of Amanda Bearden and the son of Debbie Collier. When asked about the CCTV in the Dollar Tree, he said that he has questions about whether this was really his mom or not, because he's never seen his mom wear shorts. I can understand that because shorts are very particular kind of clothing. If someone doesn't wear shorts, they don't wear shorts. She is 100% sure about her mother being in this CCTV in the Family Dollar store. Her brother doesn't think the same way.
Now, after she went back out into the parking lot, she was there for a little bit before she left. And people have asked if we would ask you what you and your mom were talking about when you were on the phone with her in that parking lot.
I wasn't on the phone with my mother. I'm not sure why she was there for.
So I have inserted this to show you how it feels like when she looks on her left side. Imagine there's someone like this holding a paper. It would be very accurate that she's looking that much on her left side only when asked questions.
I'm not sure why she was there for the amount of time that she was. Excuse me. But no, I didn't speak on the phone with my mother at all on Saturday. We had exchanged some texts prior that day. But I didn't speak to her on the phone at all that day.
When was the last time Amanda told you all she saw her mom? And can you confirm or report that Debbie's husband, Steve, was working during the time of Debbie's disappearance?
All right, so what we can confirm as far as that question up there is that we know that Amanda talked on the phone with her mother on Saturday afternoon. I'll have to look back at my notes from the actual report itself to be able to give you some kind of actual time for it. But the last time she spoke to her mom was on the phone.
So I found this very interesting when asked what was she talking about with her mother when her mother left the Dollar Tree and went into the parking lot, which is the Saturday afternoon. This was a Saturday afternoon, September 10. And she said she never talked to her mom on the phone that day. She may exchange text earlier. She denied talking to her on the phone, while the police, while doing the press conference, they say that she talked to her mom on Saturday afternoon on the phone. So who is wrong here?
There isn't any record or anything that we've seen or read where she had sent anything to Steve. Do you have any idea why that may be?
I'm definitely not gonna sit here and act like or say anything derogatory about my stepdad. He has been very supportive. He's listened to me. We've kind of cried together. Even that I can't answer, but I do know that her children have always been the main focus in her lives and the two people that she loved the most. So, I mean, I guess maybe that's why.
That was not his question. She's trying her best in this interview to deflect from letting people ask questions about it. She wants it to seem as a normal thing. Her kids were her main focus in life, but that has nothing to do with who you text or why you text. I mean, she doesn't want people asking questions. She doesn't want people speculating. She doesn't want people saying that does not make sense. She wants everything to make sense. That's why she answered this question like this, in my opinion, because she wants everything to make sense. In another world, why would you want everything to make sense if you have nothing to do with that? If you are 100% innocent and you are trying to get justice for your mother, you would be asking this question too. Why didn't she text Steve or call Steve? I mean, you would be the first one asking this question. Instead, you are trying to find an excuse for it.
She said it was deliberate and intentional and led everybody to believe it was homicide. They later came back and kind of walked that back a little bit, saying that it may not have been murder. You've come out and said that you believe it was suicide, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And kind of, if you don't mind, like what is leading you to that conclusion?
I'm not. There are key intimate things that were shared with me that I don't feel, I'm not in place in authority to say things and then, be accused that I'm lying or, my opinion just doesn't really matter, I felt like at this point. But no one saw her that day prior on Friday.
Everything is always about Amanda. She doesn't want to answer this directly because people might say, oh, you're a liar or whatever. She doesn't want to put herself in this situation. I mean, it's the opposite. We are trying to ask you, tell us, why do you think this is an unaliving situation? In my opinion, the fact that Amanda is the one that said, oh, this is an unaliving situation that happened to my mother, doesn't make sense. I mean, she's the first one that should be, no, this is not that. How did she get to this thinking process? That's what I want to know. How did she get to this final result?
There were actions. My mom was giving away things that, now looking back on, I'm like, well, that was weird. She had made some comment. It just almost seemed like she was giving me all of her things. And there was some comments that she had made. She had taken that whole week off, the week of this happening off from work. And it's Friday. I said, Mama, it's getting Friday. You're going to go back to work on Monday. And she says to me, yeah, I can't wait. And I was like, Mama, what kind of sense does that make? Like, who looks forward to going back to work? And she said nothing. And it was just the saddest. I mean, even when I seen her Friday, because we hadn't seen each other in a minute, I saw tears in her eyes. I'd never seen her that sad. I kept asking her, Mama, are you okay? Are you okay? And it's funny, when she had left the house, she wouldn't even tell me goodbye. Just looking back on this thing.
I want to go deep into these answers because I think there's a huge problem in here. Okay, first of all, she is explaining to us why did she get to this final result of, in her mind, that this was an unaliving situation. Because her mom was giving away things. Okay, she was sad. Okay, because she took the week prior off, and then on Friday she was off for a week, and then she was going back to work on Monday. She asked her, Mom, are you excited to go back to work or whatever? And the mom said, I can't wait. Okay, the exact words tell me that there's some kind of excitement for going back to work. And in my opinion, it's normal for someone that has grown-up kids, that has a certain routine in life, to want to go back to work after a week off because their life is going in their routine, in their schedule that they are adapted to all of their life. So it's normal for me that she says, I can't wait. But Amanda wants to tell us that it was not a normal I can't wait. And then she asked her mom, what kind of an answer is that? Does anyone get excited for work? What does that has to do with her mom being sad, or her mom having these thoughts, or her mom wanting to do something like that? Just tell me, what does that has to do with? If anything, it tells you that there's a certain level of stability in her, that she wants to go back to work. She's excited to go back to work. I don't see anything unhealthy in this conversation that she has had with her mother, even though she's trying very hard to show us or to tell us that this was strange. She wouldn't say goodbye to her. This really, what do you mean she didn't say goodbye to you? She wouldn't say goodbye to me. So do you mean that she said, hey, Mama, bye, and she did not reply to you? Consciously, she did not reply to you? I mean, purposely, she did not reply to you? She refused to say goodbye to you? Or do you think that maybe she didn't hear you? Or she's trying to make a very dramatic situation out of a very regular, normal situation, in my opinion.
But, to me, I just wish I would have, it's not that I didn't say, hey, Mama, what's going on? Mm-hmm. But I think she was dealing with stuff that she didn't.
Yeah, and babe, that's Candace. That's not uncommon.
No, not at all. I think
I did zoom in this just because I cannot see any makeup under her eyes, or I cannot see any smudges. And I'm someone who wears makeup, and I'm someone who cries sometimes when wearing makeup. And yes, it becomes smudgy, but why is she doing so much?
A lot of times that is why it's so hard for people.
People were asking if, she was attempting to make it look like foul play for, life insurance purposes.
To my knowledge, there is no life insurance policy. I mean, I don't really know or think whatever who else thought would make you think that's your business. But I think the reason my mother, the Venmo text read the way that it read was because she knew that I battled with mental health some pretty serious mental health issues myself, and I think maybe she just said those things to make maybe the acceptance of it easier. Anyway.
Yeah.
So your mom sent you this message even though she knew that she was going to do that with herself. She sent you this message so you can accept it more. How does that make sense? If we compare, because now we're talking about two situations. It's either homicide or unaliving. In my opinion, I would be more accepting of my mom, God forbid, did this to herself much more than she was kidnapped or someone else did this for her. The idea of someone putting their hands on your loved ones and doing such a crime, such a heinous crime on your loved ones is so scary, and they won't let me go. I mean, if anything, it raised more suspicion. It raised more questions. It raised more pain when your mom sent you this message that says they won't let me go without explaining anything.
The message was sent at 3:17 according to records. So when did you see it?
It's about 5 o'clock.
Okay. And everybody, they want to know, like, why did it take you so long to see the message?
I was, as most of you all know, I'm so sorry. I got makeup in my eyes from crying. I was cleaning. I was steam cleaning my carpets. And I had stopped, because me and my mom normally go back and forth all.
Okay. He asked her, why did it take you so long, 2 hours after sending the message, for you to read it on your phone? What were you doing in these 2 hours, basically? She kept on smudging her face more and more to buy herself some time to think about an answer. And she's like, as most of you know, I was cleaning. When she said cleaning, there's a change of tone in her voice that shows me that it's an instant idea that came up to her mind. Like, she was thinking about something to say. She didn't know what to say. She was thinking about something to say, and it's like a light bulb popped up in her head. It's like, got it, cleaning. Before saying cleaning, she was saying, as most of you know. How would we know that you were cleaning? I mean, I would understand if she was saying, as most of you know, I work, and I was working. I was at the office working. Yes, it makes sense. But as most of you know, I was cleaning. Not only cleaning, steam cleaning my carpets. How would we know that?
It's been a minute. I hadn't heard from her. And I don't know. I just had some sort of feeling over me. I mean, to be completely honest, because it was weird. So, I checked my phone and there was the message.
So this is the message that she got from her mom that she read at 5, which is, okay, they are not going to let me go. Love you. There is a key to the house in the blue flower pot by the door. Just tell me, how does this make sense that Debbie was trying to make it more accepting for Amanda? That's why she sent her. They are not. I mean, if someone sends me this, if a loved one sends me such a message, I would freak out, honestly. Who wouldn't let you go? And why are you sending me this big amount of money now through Venmo suddenly without saying anything? And why are you, what is, and the insertion of this there is a key to the house in the blue flower pot by the door doesn't sit right in my head. It makes me think that someone, whoever was sending this message, someone other than Deborah, was trying to find a justification for later on when they ask, how did you get in the house? Oh, she told me in the message there was a key in the house, for the house in the blue flower pot. Imagine being in this situation and explaining that much. I find it weird, okay?
And so there's some speculation about the timeline between when you saw the message and when the 911 call was made, and kind of some of the things that you did between those times, like going to look for her versus making the 911 call or making the 911 call going to look for her. So, like, after you got that message, can you just kind of walk us through what you did next?
Well, first of all, I was in a complete state of terror, anger. I was a basket case because I didn't know what to think. I started calling Steve over and over and over again. I finally got in touch with him while I was on. I actually went over to my mom's house because, what I had just read, I didn't want to believe. Pretty much. What is that noise? Is that me?
No.
It's our schnauzer snoring under the desk.
My AirPods, they died. So I was like, is that Mom? Anyway. I went over there with him, and I'm not going to lie to y'all. I was screaming and yelling at him, where's my mama? Where's my mama? Where's my mama? And it took a minute for us to both calm down and just to mentally kind of try to process what this is, because neither one of us understood. Mm-hmm. And that's when we called the police.
Okay, so the phone call to 911 was made first, and then
I want you to check this out. The huge sigh of relief that she takes after answering this question. It's like, okay, I've done it. I finished this very hard question.
Alta, and I've listened to the 911 calls, and I will be honest, when I first heard of this case, I was on the side of that you did it, and I was there for a while. Just being honest with you.
I get it.
When I listened to the 911 calls.
Hi, my name's Amanda Bearden, and I filed a missing persons report on my mother last night, or yesterday, excuse me, and I was just wondering if maybe I could speak with the detective that's been assigned to her case.
Do you have any further information?
I sure do. Do you want the case number?
I the case number so I can look it up that way.
Bear with me just a second. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Okay, it's 2022 -0910 0216.
And the detective may not actually be in the building yet, so I may have to get you a patrol officer, okay? So just bear with me just a second. So 09010.
I'm sorry, his handwriting is not that great, but it's 09100216.
Sorry about that. I think I missed.
You're fine. It's only me.
On Rocky Drive?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what kind of update do you have, just so I know what to try to...
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean like I had an update. I just meant... Oh, my God. I didn't mean... I'm sorry. I'm not in a clear mental state. This is my mother that's missing.
So did you hear her before saying, I sure do? When she asked her if she has new information to provide, she said, I sure do, in a very confident way. She understood the question. It's not like she didn't understand the question, or she wouldn't answer this confidently, I sure do, and then, I'm sorry, it's not that I have more things to say, it's just that I wanted to know if they need anything, or if it changed drastically between here and there.
Right. It hasn't. What I've asked being done, like one's in the GPS and they're being traced. Do I need a private detective to do that? I mean, I don't. I'm not trying to be ugly or anything.
I know.
I just the most help.
Okay, so here's the thing. She's in a what?
So she's complaining about why her GPS wasn't tracked or something. Does she need a private detective or what. I think she's trying to collect more information by saying that. Are you taking this seriously? Are you not? It's just to test the water.
So that makes things a little more difficult because people are allowed to leave and go and do things without telling other people. And I know that's not a good answer. I understand that. But that is also, that is also part of it because she is an adult. So it just takes some time also to do these things. And so I don't specifically know what they've done yet or not. I wasn't here last night, so I don't know. But from my understanding, they would be doing everything that we know to do currently. But I will definitely get somebody to call you back, okay?
Okay, thank you for talking to me.
It's no problem. I'm so sorry. I hate that this is happening to you. What was your name again, sweetie?
Amanda Bearden.
It didn't immediately change my mind. I thought, one, either that you were an amazing actress and like one of the most stone cold sociopaths ever, or that you were involved somehow and that the gravity of what you had done, that those emotions were coming through in the 911 calls. Listening back to them several times, I don't think that anymore, but there are people that say those calls were scripted, like that you wrote them out and that you basically acted out, a one-act play with a 911 operator. So kind of like, what's your thoughts when you hear that?
You're a psychopath. There is something really wrong with this world.
So the whole world, there's something wrong with it, and Amanda Bearden, there's nothing wrong with her. And they are the psychopath. I mean, who would say something like that? People are entitled to speculate. People are entitled to ask questions. People are entitled to their own opinions. You directly say psychopath about them when you don't like what they are saying.
To try to pick apart, and I mean, this is cyberbullying on steroids.
How is that cyberbullying on steroids? Just tell me, how is that? I mean, I understand if they're talking about specific things about you that you have no control over, or it's just an opinion. People voiced an opinion about your 911 calls. It sounded for them as scripted.
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm getting off track, and I apologize, but I gotta put this out here. All my family turned against me, so I get it. I get thinking, this girl's crazy, but you're horrible, awful human beings, and I pray that the trauma and the pain that I've had to go through when the police do make this press conference, which they've told me that they will. I hope you don't do this to another family. There is no way. There's just no way I could have come up with all that.
Seriously, there's no way you could come up with all of that. Okay, let's put this aside. Her mother, the day she disappeared, she was driving her rental car. So Amanda called the rental company the next day that she disappeared. So she disappeared on 10. She got the message on 10. 11 in the morning, Amanda called the rental company and pretended to be Debbie Collier. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why? Why would you lie? She did not even try to be honest and say, hey, I'm her daughter. There's a missing person report that we filed. My mother is missing and this is the report, and you can talk to the police. We have talked to them already. And I need to know where's... Straight ahead, she went to the lying path. Straight ahead. She did not even flinch. So you have a history of lying that we know of.
I mean, I think it's human nature to speculate, especially when we don't know what's going on. And
thank you. I really thank Jason, the co-host of this podcast, Crime on the Record, that he said that people can speculate. This is the human nature to speculate, of course. Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate it.
Let's be honest, like the details surrounding your mom's case, I mean, it's not your average crime scene or your average anything. Another thing is the time law enforcement arrived at the scene versus when you did. There have been a lot of comments and a lot of questions asking how you beat law enforcement to the scene. So can you kind of like how did you get there so fast, or did you get there that fast? Like, just kind of walk us through that too, please.
Okay, so I woke up and checked my phone because I knew, I'm begging and pleading with my mother all night, answer the phone, just say something. And when I woke up and I didn't have anything on my phone, I knew, Amanda, you're going to have to show your butt. You have to show your butt. Get somebody to listen to you. So, and I had tried the night before, but I called Enterprise. Enterprise was closed.
I'm sorry, but it's the drama that she's trying to insert in her answers that really, I don't like it. I don't like it when she inserts these drama, like I woke up and there was no message, and then this has nothing to do with the steps of how did you get there before the police. This has nothing to do with this question. Too much drama. I'm sorry.
At that moment, I mean, judge me all you want, but I didn't think to call roadside assistance. But I did Saturday morning. I first called their call center, and I pretended to be my mother.
Here you go.
I have no problem saying that. Because I thought, hey, if I call these people and I say I'm in trouble, they're going to send somebody out to me. Send somebody out to the van. Get her help right now,
It's actually really good thinking. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm racking my brain, but people don't see that. They don't want to see it. But the girl that I talked to, she gave me the rental agreement number, and she said, you're going to have this to speak with roadside assistance. And I hung up, I called roadside assistance, and we kind of got into it. Because I guess they could obviously tell I wasn't my mother. I was like, look, someone's life's at danger. Like, I was saying anything and everything I could to get somebody to listen to me. And they basically, this is what ended the conversation. I said, GPS my van because I have a tire out on the van. And they tell me, well, this vehicle specifically doesn't have, I forget what they called it, but they said that the van didn't have it. So they could, triangulate where the van specifically was. So from there, I hung up and I called Athens Clark County Police Department. When I initially called, I said, look, I need to see the lead investigator on my mother's follow, disappearance. I don't know the technical terms here, but the lady said there's no one that works on Sunday. Let me get you somebody. Let me get, I'll get somebody to call you back. Mr. Sergeant Johnson, I think he's a sergeant. Very nice man. I expressed to him, and I'm pretty sure that's what you guys heard. I expressed to him my situation. He agreed with me. He said, I definitely feel like something's going on here. Anyway, he took it very seriously. He told me, I'm going to try to keep you updated as much as I can. I don't remember. I guess it was about 11 o'clock. I'm going to say 10:30, 11 o'clock.
So I just want to remind you to keep your eye on her eyes while watching her, because I want you to see whenever she's looking for an answer, she will move her eyes to the left.
Sergeant Johnson called me back and he said, "Hey, does your mom have a reason to be in Raven County?" And then immediately I'm overtaken by terror. I then knew something was seriously wrong. I jumped in my car and I went as fast as I could to Raven County. It's about an hour and a half drive out there. And then I'd gotten another phone call from him. I pulled over. I saw that he was calling, and as I'm pulling over, I look at my GPS. I use Waze. And you know how it shows you where police are? As I'm answering the phone, I noticed that there were 2 cop cars not far from me. But I pull over, and I take the phone call from Sergeant Johnson, and he says, "Okay, we found the van, and it's near a campsite. But I can't tell you where it is. I don't know specifically where it is. And not even 3, 4, 5, I don't know, 5 minutes. Excuse me, I'm going to let me back there for a moment. He said a campsite. I get on Google, and I'm Googling campsite. Anyway, I get back on the road, and I run right into these deputies. I saw the van. I got out of my vehicle.
We kind of understand what she was saying. I want to show you the maps now, okay? Let's see the maps and track what she was saying exactly happened.
It's near a campsite. But I can't tell you where it is. I don't know specifically where it is. And not even 3, 4, 5, I don't know, 5 minutes. Excuse me.
So I have something to say here, because not even 3, 4, 5 minutes, and I think she wanted to say like I found her, but then she regretted it in her mind, and she said I'm sorry, directly adjusted herself and said something very different. So there was something here that she wanted to say, but does not align with her storyline that she is creating in her head. That's my opinion, of course. Okay, so she lives in Athens, Georgia. Athens, Clark, Georgia. I typed Athens, Clark, Georgia. We went to Athens in the map, and now we're going to Rabun County, where the police told her that is the reason she would be there. And she said specifically that she drove there 1 hour and 30 minutes. And that's right. Google Maps tells us that it's 1 hour, 30 minutes. So we're seeing here, she went from Athens to Rabun County, which took her 1 hour, 30 minutes to get there. And then after she was there, she searched campsite because the police called her again. She pulled over and she talked to him, and he told her, okay, we found the car and it's near a campsite. And she said, I got on Googled campsites, and then I went right in and I saw the van. There's something missing here, okay? Because see here, if I was in Rabun County and I searched for campsites, which exactly what she did, she was in Rabun County and she searched for campsites. What do we get? Like, what are the results? Let's see. This is what you get on Google when you search for campsite when you're in Rabun County. On the right, you have so much campsites, and on the left, you have so much campsites also. Which campsite did you go to? Just tell me, which campsite did you go to? This is Amanda. She was in Athens. She went to Rabun County. She searched campsite, which the police told her, I cannot tell you which campsite. I just know it's a campsite. And in a split of a second, she found the van. She went into the campsite and she found the van. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the right, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the left. So how did you find out which campsite and how did you find the van? There's not something missing. There's so much missing in this particular story that she's saying. She cannot even put up a scenario that fits her story.
And I'm yelling and screaming. I said, "That's my mama's hand. That's my mama's hand." And that was anyway. I asked the police officer. I said, because I don't know where I'm at. I asked him. I said, "Can I go? I've got to pee." And he tells me, it's just like.
Okay, this is she sat there on the podcast for like 2 hours maybe live, and while drinking we see her drinking fluids and not even once went to the bathroom. And now the moment she arrives and saw the van, she asked the police, where's the bathroom? It's just weird. I don't know.
Not even a quarter of half a mile, maybe, down the road. And I went, he said, "Look, there's not much." Well, I did speak with him for a minute. He said, we're calling. He said, we're going to get the canine out here. And then we're also, if we don't find her within a reasonable amount of time with the canine, we are going to get a helicopter out here. And so I went to use the restroom. I came back. The canine was there. He was already there. They were maybe in those woods 10 minutes. And the police officer came back and he said, "Come here." And I knew. Yeah, I've argued with him. I even hit his bulletproof vest a few times. I'm sorry. I didn't hit him, but he was just hugging me. I kept saying, "Where are you sure? Are you sure? How do you know?" And he wouldn't tell me anything. He just said, "Believe me, she's gone." Anyway, that is all the steps I took that day.
So what I'm hearing is like you were kind of doing your own, like, looking for your mom. And when you heard she was in a certain county, you just started heading that direction, which is the reason why there wasn't a huge difference between the time law enforcement got there versus when you got there. Because you weren't sitting at home.
Yeah.
You weren't at home when you got the call, right? Is that what you're saying?
I was determined I was going to find her.
She did not answer the question. You weren't home when you got the call, right? That's what he asked her. And she's like, I was determined I was going to find her, but she did not answer if she was home or not.
Anyway.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what I would do. You're fine. You're fine.
You're fine. And how you reacted is completely normal. I mean, it's.
I knew I would get down in that fight. Sorry, I interrupted you, babe.
Like, did you submit like DNA? Did you do anything like that, or?
Thank you, Jaslyn. In that Sunday night when oh my goodness gracious, the redhead investigator, she got in my face. She said, "You killed your mother." Anyway, it was very traumatic. But I mean, I guess she was doing her job, but she attacked me. Right after that, I said, "I want to give you my DNA. Take it. I don't want an attorney. I don't take my DNA." And the very next day, they're at my house with a search warrant, and that's when I willingly gave my DNA. Andrew actually gave his DNA, I want to say it was either that day or the next day.
So this is the first time we hear her mentioning Andrew, her boyfriend. That's the first time. And he did not even ask her about Andrew. He was asking her about herself. She inserted Andrew in this, which tells me that, are you trying to justify Andrew now? I mean, who said anything about Andrew? Why did you have to say that Andrew gave his DNA? Why?
We willingly gave it to law enforcement.
You're better than me. I'd ask for an attorney immediately.
They've been good to me.
Well, I mean, I think that says a lot because
weird amount. Like, any idea? Like, I mean, between the message and the amount,
right.
everything else, like it's so. I think it's a big part of why there's so much, people on one side versus the other side. It just, this Venmo, it's very crazy.
One of my favorites was Annie. Oh my goodness gracious, you look like a pterodactyl, sweetheart. But wanted to say it aligns with my birthday. It's what Andrew owed at a rehab facility. Okay, well, first of all, the charge was related to marijuana. You don't go to a rehab facility for marijuana. Not in my mind. And Andrew was never sentenced to go to a rehabilitation center. So, y'all, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs made that up.
So this is the order that Andrew got. The defendant's probation is revoked and the defendant is required to serve 6 days in the Clark County Jail with credit for time served, after which time the defendant is continued on probation with all terms and conditions of probation continued in full force and effect and subject to following additional provisions: must show proof of substance abuse treatment within 20 days. And now I'm going to show you a short clip of Grizzle True Crime. She is a YouTuber that one of her followers and her on a live stream. They have calculated everything that Andrew owed to the law enforcement, and let me show you the clip.
$85 is the exact amount that Amanda Bearden's boyfriend Andrew owed. Here she breaks it down for us. 1. Charge of violating a family violence order equals bonded out with conditions and a promise to appear at court on 9/27/21. Number 2. On 9/12/21, before the court date above, he was pulled over equals found in violation of above set pulled charges. So there's the DUI charge, $2,025. So these charges would actually, this is great to look up what the charges are if someone's charged with this at the time, right? $2,025 court fees, MJ, $1,000 fees, and seatbelt taillight violation, $750. Then, settlement for the above cases. He now owes another $292, which was for the warrant fee, okay? So, there's the family violence violation equals 12 months probation and conditions of having to report to the substance abuse program. So, DUI charge, $2,025. The MJ charge and the seatbelt and taillight was not sentenced yet. Hence, he didn't have to pay for the $1,000 nor the $750, minus $1,750. He had to pay $45 per month during probation. So here we go with the calculation. He paid 5 months. He owes 3 months, which is he owes $135 plus 4 months and 29 days, which is $225. Then he also owes the $2,025 for the DUI charge. If you add up $2,025 plus $135 plus $225, okay? So let's do it together now. This is what we were doing in the stream, just so we all make sure. So you take the $135 and then the $225 and you add it to $2,025, and the number you get to is $2,385.
Let's go on to you being a suspect. Or not being a suspect. You've said you're not. So what exactly, like, what brings you to that conclusion that you're not a suspect in this any longer?
Well, because the GBI told me. I said, I'm not going to name his name because really just don't feel like that's my place. But he's very kind to me. Anyway, it came out of his mouth, and he told me I would have my day when it was all said and done. That because they were upset by the way not only they were treated, but the way I've been treated, and they wanted to. Obviously, I kind of feel like they haven't done it as quickly as I've wanted it because I'm obviously here with y'all, but Because they said it. Because they said it.
Now, there still will be a lot of people that won't believe you, and it'll take law enforcement saying it before they believe you, and still even after they say it. I mean, it's just the world we live in. There's still going to be people that don't believe it. But do you have any indication or any idea when they're going to make any kind of announcement or say anything about this?
No, a family member, I guess you could say she's close. They tried calling the week of the memorial because I guess they were upset because of the way that was leaked or yada, yada, yada. They kept saying that I had something to do with the way they were sharing information, yada, yada, yada. But, oh my goodness, I forget even what you asked me. I'm so upset, y'all. Where was I going with that?
Well, we're just curious if you knew when any kind of announcement was going to be made, even if it's not a full announcement, just kind of a, hey, this is what we know. This is who we know didn't have anything to do with anything like that. Any kind of update.
I kind of felt. I'm so sorry, Jason. They told, I guess you could call it, a close family. They told her that they were waiting on 2 reports to come back. And I think now, I thought law enforcement had the intention of making this information public.
The sheriff's resignation. How would you describe?
They went out and publicly attacked law enforcement.
Now, Jeffrey Bearden has also questioned how the Habersham County Sheriff's Office has handled this investigation. Bearden tells me last week he called the sheriff, and when he questioned the sheriff about the investigation, how they'd handled it, he, quote, snickered at him on the phone when he pushed.
So part of my complaint was during the phone call that I had with the sheriff, Mr. Joey Terrell, I was expressing some concerns for the way in which communication has occurred during the investigation, which, I want people to know I'm trying to be very realistic here, and I understand that, you're not always going to be privy to everything. But I was trying to express some of the concerns about the way in which information was being released, some leaks of information that was being given out to the public before the family, based on some reporting and some reporters that I've talked to who said that they got it from law enforcement. And I also wanted to address, what steps have been taken by his office, and then if any, and then what steps could be taken. And then I followed it up and just let them know that I did not feel like he was able to empathize with the situation. Some kind of resolution on that. So
social media it's a great time, no matter what's going on. And you've been relatively quiet on it, which, I think that's the right thing to do. If I was in your situation, I wouldn't talk to anybody. But Andrew's been on there a little bit. How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I don't really have any kind of opinion about it. His heart was in the right place. Maybe he got upset with certain people. But it was only because it wasn't about him personally, I don't think. It was more about, sorry, that's him. Don't talk to me again, please.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that she actually
on it, which, I think that's the right thing to do. If I was in your situation, I wouldn't talk to anybody. But Andrew's been on there a little bit. How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I don't really have any kind of opinion about it. His heart was in the right place. Maybe he got upset with certain people. But it was only because it wasn't about him personally, I don't think. It was more about sorry, that's him. Don't talk to me again, please. I'm trying. Sorry, Paul. I think
I just found that this interaction that just happened is just weird and odd. Don't talk to me right now. What? I don't know. I found it weird, okay?
It was more, nobody was defending me publicly, and he was tired of me being attacked, and he felt like the one person that should have been there, should have publicly came out and defended me, was the one that accused me of it. And all his feelings put to the side, all the garbage in the past, personal vendettas, that's not even what this is about. I feel like there's just been so much of, I hate Andrew. Andrew's a bad person. Let's jump on that bandwagon. Let's do this. Let's do that. When all you've done is taken away, the attention off my mother, which is what should have been the main focus. Just like family members, one of them showed up to the memorial and made it all about herself. Insulted my best friend. I can count on.
What was it like being around family and knowing that, some of them.
And then,
What I understand is you postponed it or.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so these were the main points that I wanted to talk about watching this live stream YouTube that she did with Crime on the Record. I will be linking the full video in the description down below for you to watch if you want to. And again, this was all my own speculation, my own opinions about her demeanor in the YouTube live stream. Please do your own research and make a conclusion out of it. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.